Great, beautiful playing, bravo, fantastic. Eric, you are great. You're a fantastic cellist. And it's hard to imagine that you could be better than you are, because you're really just, everything is in order. Everything is in order. The sound is gorgeous. The left hand is in tune. You have everything going perfectly. And not only your playing, but also your way of being is comfortable, it's at ease. I know you well because I see you every week. You're always calm, competent, greatly in control. So admirable. A wonderful model for the young cellists, some of whom are very young. The youngest members of the Boston Philharmonic Youth Orchestra are 12. So you imagine you're 12 years old and you have like something like this as a model for behavior, for playing, for sound, for attitude. Exemplary, right? Really beautiful. So what else is there for you? Is there anything else for you? Or are you actually there? You're, right.
There's much more for me.
There's much more. Okay, so let's see what it is. And sometimes great mastery and perfection is the enemy, because it's so tempting to go to that place where you're totally competent. It's a kind of a winning formula. You always can go back to big sound, control, energy, and everything is in order. And it's very tempting to go back to that all the time. And the question is whether you're willing to find more vulnerability, more contrast, more variety in your playing. So it isn't always Eric being masterful. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's almost like a drug. And your sound is so extraordinary. But after a while, we didn't hear that much, but because of time. But after a while, a beautiful sound, like a beautiful girl is, or a beautiful man, is, you want to say, yeah, but what else you got? Right? So let's go back to that first entrance. And tell me what is it about? What is that first entrance where the orchestra does their big thing, and then you come in? What is the main thing you're conveying?
I think it's about heroes, heroic.
Heroic, yeah. It's actually something else. It's not only heroic. It's what is the word that Elgar always goes to when he wants to describe nobility. Nobility. Nobility and heroism is something else. Heroism has muscles, right? I'm a hero. Right? Nobility is a way of being in the world that is generous, warm-hearted, confident, a desire to bring people in, right, rather than to dominate them. So it's a very different thing. Right. So you are heroic in your playing. I don't get nobility. Right. So nobility or nobilmente, as Elgar embodied it, is a very English idea. Right. It's the height of the empire, where England dominated basically the whole world, through this extraordinary idea of a small country guiding less advantaged, less able people into a better world. And they did it with noblesse oblige, which is dignity, confidence, and love. Right. So could you add to your wonderful, powerful sound nobility, generosity, tenderness and love. Even, now notice he doesn't write fortissimo, he writes forte. Right? So it's actually a very different thing, isn't it? So would you just do the last few bars? And what your job is at this point is to take these people who've only experienced American life and you know all of that and say, no, that's not enough. You're coming with me to England. That was what was so magical about the presence of Sandy Bailey, that he brought England to us all. And of course, all the music in that concert was English. It was all from my past, from Holst to his daughter, who was my teacher, and Benjamin Britten, who was my teacher. And it was a whole world of England. It was wonderful. So could you put away your American armor and take on the role of generous, noble giver of... Now we think of empire as being a disgusting idea, but actually at that time, and for Elgar, and incidentally for Holst too, you know, that great tune in the Planets is a celebration of some very, very valuable thing, of bringing the world along and giving them more opportunities and so on. So you would have to be less aggressive and more noble. Can we do that? Just do the end. Good, beautiful, beautiful. It's already a different sound, right? It's much less pressed, much less, listen to me, rather, thank you for allowing me to lead you into this world. Totally different being. And you would look different if you were saying that to the people. Listen to me, because I can take you into a better world. So I would suggest instead of each one of those notes is separate. Only 40. Should we try that? Yeah. Why do you do ta? Why do you do ta? No, if you're singing ta, you notice that the note slightly diminishes at the end. Ta, 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 da, da, speak to them as if you had something to say rather than something to impress, because you're great at impressing people. But after a while we get bored with people who impress us. It's just not that interesting. Right? So tell us a story, tell us something. And it's minori, so it's sad but noble. Sad and noble. Right? Beautiful. And do you notice what you have to give up in order to do this? You have to give up this magnificent male strength and grandeur and magnificence and wonderful sound. It's not about that, right? In fact, it gets in the way of what you really want to say, isn't that right? Yeah. Right. So it's very interesting where an asset becomes a deficiency because it's like a barrier. And you know, forgive me for this analogy, but many women, beautiful women, face this problem because everybody's so gaga about their beauty, but it's not the beauty that matters. What matters is who they are being. And so it's a handicap to be beautiful. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? And you've worked so hard to get that incredible sound. You never need to worry about your sound ever again. Only the variety of it. Now here we go, 40. I just want to tell you something. This gentleman here, I don't know who he is, but he was very moved at that moment, right? He was moved, right? I mean, and how do I know? Because I could see it. You look. Whereas before you said, wow, he's a great cellist. And this way you used to say, I used to understand what that world was going. And of course this was written in 1918 when the Second World War, I beg your pardon, the First World War had destroyed the world that Elgar grew up in and loved. Right? It was all gone and it never returned. And we know that from so many novels and from Downton Abbey and all that, the experience of looking back, that sense of sorrow is there. So it's not, oh, listen to me, it's, oh my God, we've lost it. And it was very, very beautiful. You have a face, a mask, a face, which is, you've developed, and it expresses some kind of sorrow, but it's become a habit. It's no longer real because it's always the same, and I noticed it the other day. So could you develop, if you're going to use your face, which I love, I mean it's a wonderful thing to do, you don't have to. There are people, great musicians who don't express on their face, but if you do, make sure it's not a formula, but it is really moved by the music, right? So this is quiet, noble, and that sense of raising your body so that it's upwards, because the confidence and the love which comes through is not that, but rather this. Right? Should we try it? No, you forgot. The first one, oh, it's like a great singer. Oh, it's like enveloping the audience in this world. Just start right there. That's very good, but he wrote fortissimo appassionato. So what you're doing is ta-di-da, ta-di-da, which is aggressive, but it isn't appassionato. Passion, ta-di-da, ta-di-da. The real passion, do that chord. Good. And that's all about going from F sharp and going back to F sharp. So can you just try, that was much better. Appassionato. Ta-yi-da, ta-yi-da. And then ti-ya-di, yum. Right? Chord. Beautiful, bravo, beautiful. Sad now. Sad. Oh, that's such an amazing chord, isn't it? When the strings come in with that B major chord, a little vibrato on it. But that was beautiful. And you've gone through a huge gamut of emotions already, right? And you took them with you. I know, because I feel it. I feel everybody say, so can we just hear that, the sound of that note? From 16, from the C natural. Have you thought that maybe that would be beautiful, because espressivo, to do it on the second string, on the D? Wow. You see, this gentleman, and he's a musician, so he went, yeah, that's right. What's that, right? It's, that color, because it's so different. We haven't heard that yet. that D string sound. So you try that again from the C. Here comes the chord. Beautiful. You see, that chord, these people, I chose them to be in the front row because they're very expressive. This fellow went, yeah, right. Because what's happening, the way you're playing, it says, listen to me, because what comes next is really amazing. It's what comes next that you do with that B. With one last time, all right? That sound, you know, it's a little strained. It's not just beautiful. Right. It's beauty with strain. Right, again. Yes. Now, what comes next? So that's a quote from the beginning of the piece. Remember, after the introduction, da da dee da dum, da da dee da dum. Do you know what is it about? What is it saying? It's saying, it's a question, right? So can you play it like a question, not like a statement? I would say, ya da dee da da, ya da dee da da. What's going to happen? Da da dee da dee. And then the third time, da da dee, and it goes to the beautiful viola solo. But this is different. So do ya da dee. Beautiful. Next one. Go on. Yeah. Now, you look worried when you're playing that. But you know what he's saying is, to hell with all that. Let's get going and have some fun. Right? So can you look that way? So you take the audience not into the difficulty of the cello playing, but the fun of what's about to happen. Right? Do it one more time and then, like a magician, don't give away the difficulty of the trick, okay? So try. Expectation. And good. Now Elgar takes us into a completely different world. Ordinary life, fun, pubs, beer, people playing, having fun. So you totally change your entire disposition, demeanor, and have fun. Right? It's amazing because the contrast is so incredible. So do right from there. Oh, we've got to watch. Yeah, one, buddy. Yeah, you have a bad habit of looking at your bow, wondering what it's doing, and it makes people a little anxious because they think, doesn't he know what he's doing? He seems to be... And if you look at the very great cellists and great players, you don't see them looking at their bow. Right. Yo-yo never looks like, oh, no. And don't imitate anybody, be yourself, but don't convey worry, ever. Because audiences get worried with you. They don't pay, you know, we paid $250 to go to hear the Berlin Philharmonic the other day. I mean, it's got to be really good, right? Okay. And so your job is to take us into a world in which, my God, what fun this is. Try it with the most fun you can convey. I have to. But it's an illusion. You're pulling people into a world that they don't normally play, don't normally enter. The world of admiration and judgment is very familiar. Is he a good cellist? Is he a better cellist than the other ones I know? Is he winning the competition? Is he going to get the job? You know, all of that is familiar. That's the way we live life, unfortunately. The great artists have the capacity to literally wrench us out of that whole world of measurement and comparison and winning and losing and success and failure and all that stuff. Leave it at the door and come into a different world. That's your job. Now, you're the leader of a cello section. That means 15 other cellists are dependent on you to be fully expressed what the music is trying to say. And you're doing a great job as a leader. But what needs to come now is the whole area of character, color, expression. That's the next thing. Otherwise, you'll remain just very good instead of great. We want great. Right? So, would you do the end? Because the end of the Elgar Cello Concerto. Oh, one thing. Do from here. Da 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 yum ba dee da. Could you do that passage? Now, here, this is a very special thing. It's very hard to understand. If you're not English, it's very hard to understand what's going on here, because it expresses dignity and then somebody falling on the ground because they slipped on a banana peel. All right, okay. That I didn't invent that. That was Tovey invented that. Donald Tovey. He said the dignity at the mercy of banana skins. So you go da ya da yum ba dee da yum. Can you do that? It's very un-American because the Americans take themselves very seriously. The English don't take themselves seriously at all. They're full of playfulness and fun. And if you don't get that, you don't get Elgar. All right, so da-dee, da-dee. No, it's not suffering. This is not, you've got your suffering face. Your face is like a mask. Take off the mask and put on a different mask. Right? No, we're not. It's not. Right, you're much too good a cellist to look worried. Right, because you're way beyond that. You're such a good cellist. You understand? You're way beyond any limitations of technique already. And you're 20, right? Right. It's amazing. I mean, totally admirable. It's not enough. Perfection is never enough. Got it? Do it once again. No, there's your suffering face. It's not suffering. Now fall over. What a funny thing to have in a concerto. That's orchestral playing. Isn't that funny? That's Elgar having fun. Do that, pizzicato. Now what's that? Ta-yum, ba-gidum, ba-gidum, ta-yum, ba-gidum, piggity, piggity, piggity. Playful, right? A little coquettish. Can you do coquettish? Probably not. No, you didn't do coquettish when you were growing up. No. You see, we musicians actually are actors. We have to, if you went to acting school, they would teach you to do coquettish, right? But in the school you went to, they teach you, and all of that, right? You don't need any more of that. In fact, take a couple of months off from the gym. It'd be great. Do you see? There's no clear path to the. You have to live life fully. You have to get engaged in all sorts of experiences in order to be available for the music. We are servants of the music, and we make ourselves available by all the experiences we have. Go on, do the tragedy. Because this is some of the epilogue of the Elgar Cello Concerto is some of the most beautiful music written by any composer in any occasion. There's nothing more beautiful than this. Right? So let's have the C sharps. Good. One thing I will tell you, I heard you play this the other day in the class, and what you're doing today is far beyond where you were. So that gives me enormous satisfaction, because why do I bring a cellist from Europe to play the Elgar Concerto here? Aren't there enough cellists here in Boston, on Boylston Street, who could play this concerto? No, yeah, there are a lot of people who can play it. There are probably 150 cellists in this area who could do a commendable performance of. But I brought him for the special voice, and you got that. You took it in, and it gives me incredible satisfaction. So when you bring in a great teacher, a great player, a great person, it has an effect. Like when Rostropovich first arrived, everybody started playing differently. And Jacqueline Dupre, everybody started playing differently. But remember that Rostropovich was Russian, and an incredible powerhouse player. Jacqueline Dupre was 17 when she played this piece. Sandy Bailey is 68, and so was Elgar. Mm-hmm. Right, end of his life. He was a poor person who never fitted into English life. He was ignored. There was a book written about modern composers in England, and they left him out completely. Imagine what that would felt like. He was a Roman Catholic in a society that despised Roman Catholics, like Jews were despised. And so he was an outsider like Mahler. And this you won't understand, but he married above his station. In other words, his wife came from a different class, and that was considered unacceptable in England until quite recently. So all that sorrow and all that yearning and that anguish and that vulnerability, and you play as if you wanted to show what a great sound you have. There isn't anything about sound. So should we play that phrase again? And I'm coming at you now as a conductor, so let me conduct a little bit, and I'm not going to tell you how to play. I don't know what to tell you, but I feel this. I feel his agony and his yearning. Would you try the C sharps again? So, what I hope this opens up for you is a new exploration of music as a language, not as something you do, but something you be. And when you convey it to your section, or when you play a concerto with orchestra, that's what you're doing, because you're including the whole audience in the drama, the story, the language, what's being said, and you make your extraordinary technical ability the means by which you do it. And it's not about showing off what you can do. It's enabling people to participate in who you are being. And that's a huge shift. And conservatories don't particularly encourage that, because the music schools are trade schools, and they're about getting jobs, right, essentially. This is what you need to do to be playing tune, playing time, you know, good sound, all that. And I'm not saying this particular conservatory, just in general, the music profession. I remember I was having dinner with a friend, and I was talking about this, and I was saying that music is the ultimate language of the human soul, and the music profession thinks it's about playing the fucking trumpet. Unfortunately, the guy I was having dinner with was writing a book of quotations. But I meant it. It's not about playing the fucking trumpet, or even the glorious cello. And that, if you can really get, and then I think that's what Sandy Bailey brought to us for 10 days, through the rehearsals and through the discussions and the storytelling. I mean, he did an imitation of Rostropovich, which was better than Rostropovich himself. And he spent a whole evening with us telling us about the 2 years he spent with Jacqueline Dupre as she suffered through her terrible disease. And it just, the storytelling, the embracing of life in fullness, in all. So do anything which increases your fullness of being. And my teacher, Casado, said to us students, you can't play great music till your heart has been broken. So go out, get going, and you know, have your heart broken. You know. I did Mahler 9 in Venezuela with the Venezuelan orchestra, and the first horn came to me just before the performance. He said, I've got some great news, he said. I said, what? He said, my fiancée has just ditched me. And he went out and played the best Mahler 9. So go deep into your heart and your experience for what you give the world, and think of yourself as a gift, not as somebody to be impressed by. You get that distinction? You're a gift. And it's huge. And the fact you're in the youth orchestra, for me, is a huge privilege, because you bring so much to the role. And now I want more. All right, great, well done.